Welcome to the Luxe Leap. My name is Reland Logan, and we chat with women-led businesses making bold moves, big wins, and the secrets to extraordinary branding. So I have a question. What if accessing the right capital wasn't a guessing game, but a strategic advantage? Dina Kroshkin is your go-to SBA lending expert with over 20 years in the financial industry and a deep background in commercial real estate and business lending. As the head of Total Loan Solutions, a division of Mission Valley Bank, Dina leads nationwide efforts to connect business owners and investors with the funding they need without the friction. Her experience spans everything from underwriting and credit reviews to loan originations and lender consulting, giving her the unique ability to bring certainty of execution to every deal. Whether you're a business owner looking to grow or a lender seeking high-quality opportunities, Dina is the connector who makes the complex feel simple and strategic feel seamless. Please welcome the powerhouse behind Total Loan Solutions, Dina Kroshkin. Hey, Dina.
Oh, how are you? Pleasure to be here.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so excited to have you. And it would never be an episode of The Luxe Leap if I didn't ask. Give us the Reader's Digest version of how you started this brand or became a part of this brand.
Yeah, that's a great question. I love how you are diving into it. For me, it was really just the discovery of what I'm good at and then finding out that people see value in it and that's something that resonates with them and something that can help them build their future, build their legacy, or build their year to date. So I started in financial industry for over 20 years ago and kind of landed in a banking career. It's career by default, right? For a lot of us bankers, not everybody is like leaving college and saying I'm going to be a banker. But because banking has so many different divisions, I had an opportunity to end in a business lending department. And at first it was like, well, it's just a job out of college and, where is it going to take me? But I got introduced to working with businesses and business owners and learning about so many different industries and then seeing what role us as bankers play in it. A few years down the road, it started making a difference from me working at a community credit union and then moving to a nationwide firm and seeing more businesses and just more of what's out there, but really seeing how what I do on daily basis really has an effect on somebody's life. So that was rewarding, and I just wanted to continue on, and 20 years later, here we are.
Here we are. I mean, and it's amazing because so many businesses, they do need that resource. And what I love about filming this show is that I never know what order you're all going to end up in. And so I actually had somebody who spoke on finance and we were talking about lending as it not being like the say all be all when it comes to cash flow and all of those pieces. And I do believe that Janetta's podcast will be right before yours. So the timing is just beautiful. But if it's not, happy jumping around, dear listeners. We love you. So,
well, yes, it'll still give an opportunity to build on it, whichever way it actually ends up played.
Yes. So how often do you feel that, well, let's just talk about how does lending give somebody a leg up in being able to grow their business?
Yeah, great question. So lending really assists people in different timeline of their business. It could help them from the starting point where they're either setting up a startup or they're purchasing a business to where they are ready to expand, where they're ready to add maybe products, go into different markets. And then one of the other pieces is that as a business owner, you have so many different hats that you wear, and you're over here managing your product set, you're over here doing accounting for whichever reason, and then you're working on marketing, and then you've got employees, and then you've got to manage all of the cash flow, and then one day you wake up and you're like, wait, how did this get out of control? Because I was so busy concentrating on all of these things, and I didn't really pay attention to my cash flow, my liabilities, my balance sheet is now maybe a mess. So one of the other options that they could utilize lending is really restructuring all of their liabilities and helping them get back on track with their cash flow, freeing up their cash flow, allowing them to either get themselves out of the hole, or keep on growing and expanding and adding new team members and, continue on building their dynasty.
Oh, that is amazing. And I love how you put those two pieces together because it really is a missing piece for many. And so many women are afraid to take out loans to grow their business, from just a lot of scarcity mindset things that rear their ugly heads or horror stories that they see online. And so I'm glad that you shared, like, these are the ways that it can impact you in a very beautiful and strong way in order to grow their legacy and have that impact that they desire to make when they are growing these businesses.
Yeah, unfortunately, financial literacy is not being taught in schools. It's really not being taught at a college or university level unless you are maybe in a finance or accounting degree. And even then, financial literacy has so many aspects. And, when you're a business owner and you have this zest for either marketing or products, this is not your forte. You don't think about finances, and then you are sitting there and are forced to deal with it without really the proper education, the proper background, the proper base and the backbone. So it does look intimidating. It sounds intimidating, but it really doesn't have to be.
It really doesn't. And I always share that where brand lives in this space, like, so many people have this interpretation that brand is logos and colors, and yes, and like that is like the very tip of the iceberg. Um, but it lives in between where finance, marketing, and operations intersect. And it's going to touch all of those pieces because it is there to give soul and heart to where we want to take it. So knowing exactly your why, if we are going to go very Simon Sinek on everybody here, is to really truly go after the why of, like, why do we want to expand? Well, now how much money do we need to, like, feed and fuel this brand growth? And marketing's there to get the word out. And if we have great marketing but horrible operations, then you know marketing's not going to matter much anymore if you don't have strong systems in order to give incredible customer service. And if you give incredible customer service, you have cash flow if you are charging correctly. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of spokes to this wheel. But kind of moving beyond that piece, when you think of the spokes of your own personal wheel and your own brand, what was a pivotal moment in that brand journey that really defined where you are today?
Hmm. I think it's really getting to know myself, getting to know what value do I bring to the table. And then understanding where does it fit, number one, in the organization that I was at, but then number two, bringing it to the community, right? The community that I chose to be around, the community of either business owners, or a community of women that are still deciding, do I want to be a business owner or not? So understanding what I have, getting comfortable with ability to deliver my knowledge to people, because sometimes we're like, we know it, but we're just not really good at communicating it to others, right? So discovering that, and then discovering that I can offer something that people are looking for, and they may not even know what they're looking for at the time, but then also giving them an opportunity to look at themselves and their business and saying, look at this. You've got a base and you've done such a good job. Let's keep on building on it. And sometimes that's all that the business owner needs to see. Like, they just need a little bit of reinforcement. Hey, did I do this right? Am I on the right track? Am I really going where I'm anticipating to go? So that was the pivotal point. That was kind of like, I'm no longer just a lender. Like, I'm making a difference in a community that I'm at for the businesses that are in that community, and then going beyond, going national. So it's that's where the mind changes, and that's where the approach changes.
That's incredible. And just, when we were chatting the last time we were together, we were talking about there's like an element of consulting that you do in this space. And I'm just curious for all the listeners out there, like, what does it look like? Like, you're making this impact, but what does consulting look like for you when you're trying to give guidance to any situation? Because let's be honest, we have to be broad
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, so one of the starting points that I like to start with them is an look, debt is not really your enemy as it might be perceived out there in social media and other markets. Nor is it really your best friend where you're supposed to be, just going out there and racking up your credit card bills and not knowing what your plan is. Debt is a tool. So let's get comfortable with debt. Let's understand, why is it here? What does it offer? And then the next question is, or in our discussion is, okay, you're here today. Is this where you want to be? Is this where you're intended to be today at this point of time? And where are you going? What is it going to take to get there? So it's really talking about the vision and their desire, because every business owner will have a different desire. We might have three business owners in the same industry, and they all have a different vision, right, for them and
Mhm.
their company. And now, when we can discover, number one, we have now a tool that we'll work with. Number two, what your vision is. Now let's look at your finances. Let's not be afraid of looking at your finances. Let's look at them and understand where are we at. And if we're not doing real good, that's okay. We can improve it, we can build on it, and let's prepare you for that next borrowing phase. What has to happen for you to get there? So when you go to a lender, you get an answer of a yes versus a no to continue on your operation and building your dreams.
That's amazing. And I just love that you get that work done because people need to understand, to your earlier point, financial literacy is not taught
Mhm.
um, in high school and college. Um, and I mean, I know people in finance who have horrible financial literacy. So it's interesting how it does not move towards the individual when you're learning it in a business aspect as well. So, thinking future bound, Dina, what are your long term goals for expanding your brand's impact on these businesses?
Yeah, um, really building more of options for financial literacy. Really, what does it mean? Where can people find it that it doesn't look intimidating? Where it doesn't look like a failure? Oh my gosh, I have to stop now and go back to the ABCs and learn financial literacy, right? So making it a lot more available to business owners, and specifically women business owners, just because some of them walked into the business and they didn't have that preparation. So now they're like, okay, I've raised my children. They're now ready to go and do their own thing. I've had this great business idea and now I'm ready to implement it. But like, what do I do with this finance piece? It shouldn't be as overwhelming as it is for a lot of women. So building a community and resources as to, here's where you can go, here's where you can have a conversation, here's where you can start, here's who you can hire to get you to the right points, and making it more readily available and easier to talk about. Because a lot of us, a lot of us are on social media and having conversations online, and nobody's going to raise their hand and say, yeah, I kind of need help here with this financial
Oh, no.
thing, right? Like, people don't want to talk about it. We talk about everything else. We talk about makeup that, we shop for and the best brands, but people are like, look, finances, and everybody's like, yeah, I got to go take a lunch break.
Oh, yeah. We are happy to talk about how we made money. We are happy to talk about how we spend money, but we will never talk about that fact that we need help with money.
Right. Yeah.
It's very true, actually. Nobody really raises their hand when it's like, look, I suck at something. Um, I see that also with branding. Like if I ever ask like who needs help with their messaging, nobody's in the comments being like, I do. It's like
Right.
it's a DM that's like, I've been looking at your stuff for a while. And I was just curious if I could talk with you. And I'm like, yes, you can talk with me. And I can feel like the trepidation of
Yeah.
asking from the other side. And I'm sure you get that too of somebody finally being like, can you help me,
Yeah,
please?
and people are calling and they're like, "So, we need money." I'm like, "Great." And they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes."
That's why I'm
You
here.
know? Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's your next step in business. Yeah. You're utilizing the capital to grow your business because a lot of business owners are sitting there like, "Oh, we're gonna save because that's maybe the right thing to do or perceive the right to be the right thing to do." But while they're saving for 3 years, what is happening to their competitors? Are they taking their clients?
Yep.
Are they producing the product, right? So what kind of market opportunity have you lost over the last 3 years while you were saving because you thought it was the safest business step, right? So debt is a cost of doing business, but utilizing it correctly to build your business. Again, this is now a tool. This is no longer something that you should shy away from.
No, I always tell people you have two choices. You can spend time or you can spend money to make it happen. In many cases, it's going to be both. But are we willing to spend more money so we can speed up time? Or are we willing to spend a lot of time and slowly make the money? Like, that is a choice you have to make. And, you know, it's interesting that many don't think that way, which is fine. I mean, usually I get deers in the headlights when I say that and I'm coaching someone. But I think that that fear that you just touched on shows up in a variety of ways, not just based on like growth. It's this idea that we have to save, we have to wait. I was on a conversation with my youngest sister. I've got a lot of those.
Mhm.
I'm collecting sisters like people collect candy on Halloween, it feels like. But my youngest sister is 21. And we were talking, she really wants to go to art school. And my other sisters are like, "Don't do it. It doesn't make any money." And I was like, "That's a lie. Like a whole lie that they're telling you." And I went to art school and they're like, "You're going to fail like Ray." And I was like, "I didn't fail and I finished. I don't understand where this narrative comes from." But one sister's an attorney, so
Oh,
we'll
well,
leave it there. So is like she's sitting there and she's like so upset. She's like, I'm gonna save and then I'm gonna go to school in a couple years. And I was like, why are you waiting? I go, there are jobs. I literally start looking up jobs that I know use graphic designers. Like this one pays 85K. This one pays 147. She's like, but you have to have a degree for that. I go, that's true. But you could go find an alternative means to make money with your skill set. You don't need a teacher to show you how to draw. You already know how to do that. Go
right.
on Fiverr, create something, have a proof of concept, build your portfolio. So when you do go to school and you do graduate, you are going to have proof of concept and get paid more. And sometimes when I think about finance and like people going to get lending or cash flow, it's like sometimes it's just go get the money so you can test it out faster. At the end of the day, I just feel that people should learn how to fail faster in order to win better. And
Well, yeah, there is some truth to it. It's kind of like if you don't make the choice as to which direction you're going to go, the choice is going to be made for you, regardless.
yes.
So you might as well be in control of that, right? And then timing, in order to move anywhere in life, you got to have some kind of action. You have to get off the couch, you have to get out of the house, you have to go meet people. Same thing goes for finances. You know, you might not need a loan today, but it might be in 3 weeks that you have an opportunity. So if you haven't made a phone call to a lender or a specialist or someone and have asked the question, hey, if I wanted to, am I ready? And if I'm not ready, what do I need to do? Because a lot of the times, if you haven't done that homework, when you need it, it's a little bit too late. You
Yeah.
should have started a little bit sooner. So, I mean, it's the same thing as being healthy. You have to start with the little thing, right? Now, one, I know now what I need to eat. Okay, how do I need to exercise? I'm not going to change all of my habits tomorrow. So maybe today I will, put in an apple into my diet every day, and maybe I'll start exercising once a week and then building on it. So those are now normal concepts. People understand it. Same thing with finances. You're not going to get there the next day, but having conversations. Hey, did I talk to my bookkeeper? What is my bookkeeper recommending? Am I providing appropriate documentation for them to do their job? Okay, great. I've covered that. Let's talk about taxes. Okay, am I on the same page with my CPA? Do I understand where I need to be? My CPA says, okay, you're good to go. This is what we have. Okay, now I should speak with either a lender or a consultant in the lending field. Hey, if I wanted to build my business to $5 million in revenue, this is my goal in the next 3 years. And if I were to do it with debt, where do I start? Am I ready? Am I not ready? What do I do? What does my business look like? What do my personal finances look like? So it's preparation. Again, it's going back to, you didn't just wake up and ended up having a marketing firm that is, one of the popular firms in town. You had to get there.
Yes.
Finance is the same way. You're not going to wake up with $1 million net worth without working at every dollar that was there and kind of watching it.
Like assigning it a role and like
Yeah,
going after it.
yeah,
It's and to your point about like marketing in brand in general, like just we were weirdly talking about this before, but not in this context. So we're going to use that example again, and nobody heard that combo other than you and I. But just that idea of, when I was talking about building that planner because of my ADHD, one of the reasons that I built it and created the group with it was because you can have a beautiful brand message and it can exist, but it doesn't matter if you don't go out there and work it and share the message. Like you have to assign a
exactly.
role to it.
You have to tell people that you've got it and it is available.
Like people just don't magically know by looking at you. It's not tattooed on my forehead. So,
Right. Yeah.
oh my goodness. So look, thinking about how we have AI in our world today. We have, relationships will never go away. Like that cannot replace humanity
Yes.
in that way. But also understanding that one of the big problems in your industry is a lack of financial literacy and the know withal to know when you come into place, and that you're not exactly here for emergency purposes all the time, but a tool to build. How is your marketing strategy adapting to support that level of brand growth to also help educate?
Yeah, that's this conversation is so timely, right? We have our standard marketing that we do. Okay, we tell the world what Total Loan Solutions does. You can go on LinkedIn, you can see what we're doing. Um, but now in moving forward with the mission to give more support to these business owners, one of the tools that I am now utilizing is co-marketing. I wouldn't call it co-branding because we're different brands, but co-marketing with the individuals that are in the same support role to the business owners
Yeah.
is really the way that I see is the best way to go, because that's where the that's where women go for support and tools, right? So if they're like, hey, like I really need to clean up my books, I'm gonna go and talk to a bookkeeper or an accounting firm, right? So now they're like starting on that base and cleaning it all up. Having that as an option and support already in their marketing and being visible, that's like putting little gems of, okay, seen that. When I'm ready, I know where to go. Because who would have just, Google Total Loan Solutions? You wouldn't, right?
You wouldn't.
So it's really kind of co-marketing and being in that same community where it's building awareness once again.
I love that because that is something that I naturally do too. Because I always have the joke that I'm sitting at a cafe and sipping lemonade because that is my drink of choice, literally. Um, and people are just like running past me frantically, like building their business, freaking out. And then eventually they slowly slowly make their way back and sit at my table and they're like, okay, I need help. But it's not just me that they need. Like some folks may need lending to be able to afford my services, but they know it's going to get them to the next level. They need somebody who is a fractional CFO to even help them make the determination that I am of value to them and getting a loan is of value to them. You know, we also need people who do sales because I don't do sales for folks and neither do you, but we need to grow the business. And so having that circle of trust between everybody who serves the same niche is really important, I think, from a growth perspective, because collaboration will forever and always um, trump a Google search, for
Oh yeah,
example.
absolutely. And the thing is that, between even you and I, so, or me and an accountant, or when you come to a lender, when they come to me, I'm like, what are your financials? I need to see your financials. And they're like, what are those? Where do I get them?
What is
Um,
it?
well, for the most part, people are a lot better, but some are like, wait, I didn't even stop to think about it this year. And we're in June and I was concentrating on everything else. So in order for one expert to help you in their area of expertise, there's someone else who has to do some work for
Yeah.
them to rely on that information to take that and help you with that next step, right? So, as a marketing or branding individual, you kind of need them to come to you and tell you, number one, what is their business? What is their product? What is their mission?
What are
Who
we
is their
doing?
best client, right? So some of that work either is done by them, but if they're not able to get through it, then they need to get a coach. They need to get someone to talk through these things. So when they come to you, they're most effective with their time with you. None of us can do it all. It literally takes a village.
It does literally take a village. And funny, you're like, they need to talk with somebody. That is what we do in my brand storms, actually, is like, no one asks you a lot of questions that nobody's asked you before because
Mhm.
we got to get to the root of it. But, you know, it's, we're also intertwined and it's, it's incredible. I'm teaching a class after I get off of this call with you. And I was thinking about this, and I think it's why it's coming up so much, is because I'm constantly thinking about like if the client is the center, whatever their business is the center, then like what are those factors that they need help with? Like who do they need on their metaphorical team in order to grow to exponential heights to really hit their dreams? And maybe one day I'll make a worksheet for it, but the coach in me will never go away. Um,
That's the
from
fun
coaching
part.
cheer to coaching businesses.
Coaching is the fun part. That's really where you get to know people, build a network, see the vision, and feel like you're a part of the community that you're supporting. Because we all need purpose. So what
Yes,
is a purpose to each one of us is different, but we all need one.
it's true. It's so true. Or otherwise, why get up every day? All right. Are you ready for your two fun questions that I
Yes,
didn't tell you
I'm
about?
ready. I'm ready.
I love it. As we're ending the end of our show, first off, let's just like give you a round of applause because that was so much amazing, juicy information that people need to know. And I
Thank you.
absolutely love it. But when you are not giving out all of the gold gems that were in today's podcast to the people that you serve, what does a day of living a luxurious life look like to you?
Oh, so good to think about. So my husband is a pilot,
That's so
and
cool.
a pilot. Yeah, he flies jets for a company. But I've had an experience of experiencing just a day of a trip with him as a pilot. So in my luxurious day, I wake up in the morning and we take a private jet somewhere to Europe, and we spend all day strolling the streets, eating the foods, just soaking in the culture and enjoying what that place has to offer. There's so many beautiful places in the world, but being able to do it on your own, private jet, someday in the world, with a spouse, that's a beautiful day to me.
Oh my goodness, that is just incredible. And just awesome because it's so accessible for you, makes it even like that much better.
Well, I mean, one day, yes, I'm hoping that will be the case.
Oh, it's totally happening. You are 20 steps closer than many of us. So
I have a vision,
it's
beginning
going
with the end
down.
in mind.
Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. So last one, best one. In one word, what is your primary motivation in business?
Um, it's a loaded question.
Always.
Um, I think it would be legacy.
Ooh, why?
Because I feel like I'm participating in somebody's legacy on daily basis. Just this morning, I was talking to a gal, and she called because her dad is ready to retire, and she has worked together with him in a business for over 20 years, and now she's like, he's ready to go. How do I get an opportunity to take over and now take the legacy that he has built for his kids, and now step in and continue on building it for my children. So it's it's a little part that I play, but it's definitely a part that lets other families create legacies for their families.
Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. I absolutely love it. Well, Dina, it was incredible having you on this show. How can people get a hold of you?
LinkedIn. I think it's the easiest way. If you'll just go to Dina Kroshkin or Total Loan Solutions, I'm active there. I check my messages on daily basis. That's probably the easiest way for you to get to know me, and shoot me a quick contact, and we will be in conversation.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Dina. If you are looking for even the right answer to how lending works for you, please give her a ping on LinkedIn. Her details will also be below this video or in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast. And if you are looking to have a beautiful brand or even just see where the holes in your brand exist, go ahead, go to graydigitalmktg.co and click on Brand Muta Brand Breakthrough. And I would be happy to do a video audit of your brand and really go through the details of where you are leaking dream dollars and have the ability to make those changes quickly. It's a custom video audit, and it is 1,000% there to get you the right step forward to grow your brand. And honestly, win. It's football season in this house, so that's the only thing on my mind. All right, y'all have a beautiful day, and we will see you next Thursday on an episode of the Let's Leap. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.